Welcome to the Nerdtastic in 3D podcast.
It's Nerdtastic in 3D. Oh, it's Nerdtastic in 3D. Yes, it's Nerdtastic in 3D. It's Nerdtastic
In 3D. Boom. Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Nerdtastic in 3D, episode number 34. We are a podcast of entertainment industry professionals talking about anything and everything that we find nerdy and or entertaining. So welcome. My name is Jason Carter.
I'm Sean Fennell.
I'm Josh the Broad.
I'm Jack Geckler.
And I'm out of here.
Bye, Jason.
Bye,
It would have
Jason.
sounded weird without you, though.
Yeah.
I just want to point that out as he leaves right now and goes off to have a meeting with people in India.
Exactly.
Wait for outsourcing.
You're
Woohoo!
so unhappy right now. You are so unhappy.
His face said it all, folks.
Jason was not happy, folks.
No.
He was
No.
not in a good mood.
No.
He was like me last week.
He's in a meeting till 9 tonight, so that's why I'm hoping he's not in a good mood.
Bad dates.
Bad dates.
That wasn't in India, was it?
That was in Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
It's close. Pretty close.
Good enough for me.
We got the eye.
My God, we're here for another show. Today's cuatro.
I don't know how many that is.
That's the wrong way to say 34.
Yeah, that's just 3 and 4 right after each other.
Let me translate.
Three
If you took
cuatro?
a 3 and a 4, you get that, but not said like that.
Yeah.
That's what happens. So we have we didn't talk about any prep on this show, did we?
We don't need to. I got good stuff lined up in my head.
No
We
idea what
have
we're
no
about to talk
topics.
about.
No, I got
We
good
have
stuff.
nothing. Tonight we are missing Jason, obviously, as you realize, it just left, and Adam McFarlane is not joining us. So it is me, Sean, and Jack. Why?
But we don't need them.
Not. Shit.
Why? Because we have Golden Road Brewery,
We do. Thank you,
Good.
Golden Road, for sponsoring the show again.
who supplied us with a little case of their Golden Road Hefeweizen, which is
Yay, the
amazing. So I want to jump right into something.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about how our own Sean Fennell
Oh, here we go.
is a goddamn MMA badass now and is
Oh, here we
taking
go.
Gracie
That
Jiu-Jitsu.
is so not true. I am not a badass at all.
I think you're pretty badass.
I think me and Josh don't do it, so that it instantly makes you a badass.
Yeah, Sean.
So, dude, talk about it. Talk about, like, getting your ass handed to you in arm bars.
So, first of all, though, too, for people that don't watch this video or have not seen a picture of you, describe yourself.
I am 5'10", 145 pounds, skinny, white, bald dude. Pretty much
Let's go ahead and let that marinate,
Damn
everybody.
sexy.
super nerd. Nerdier than anyone else in this nerdcast.
You could go to YouTube, though, and check out all the nerdiness of all of us if you'd like.
But yeah, I started a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class in Glendale, which is a Gracie Barra sanctioned school, and they were doing like a week of classes for free. So I went in, did an hour-long class, just kind of out of the blue, showed up, and destroyed me. It took me 4 days to recover from this class/workout. It's super strenuous cardio and strength training all combined into one, and you're learning how to take people down to the mat. You're learning how to get past their guard into more advantageous positions, learning how to mount. You're learning how to do arm bars and triangle chokes, and
Explain to people, like, the differences, though, between... You know, you hear jiu-jitsu nowadays is such a popular term. Explain to maybe people, like, the difference between what you're learning and what you're doing compared to just a typical MMA fight, like what guys are doing out there on the mats.
Okay, so a typical MMA fight, you start out with the stand-up striking, and then usually it boils down to someone goes down on the mat, and then it's the ground and pound game, where it's kind of a mix of jockeying for position, wrestling and jiu-jitsu, and just pummeling the ever-living crap out of someone. This is not the pummeling part. This is just learning the grappling and dealing with another opponent giving you resistance and trying to subdue them or submit them.
This is also with gis.
Yeah, so we
Which
actually,
I know is
So we're
different.
training with gis. It's kind of like when MMA first started, like the first Gracie fight when he was just doing some crazy shit you couldn't even see, and all of a sudden the guy would tap out. It's like that because we're wearing the gis and we're training with the gis. I think they have an advanced level class where you do it with shirts off, and that's more for like, all right, if you were in a situation where you didn't wear baggy clothes or the other person didn't wear baggy clothes, then you kind of learn that thing. But the thing that's really intriguing and why I like it so much is not only is it a really, really good workout, but it's really technical. So you learn a lot of interesting techniques that, I think they'll help you out in many cases. But the thing that I found that was really cool is
when you're snuggling a woman.
No, if you're, well, that's always very cool. But if you're really straining to try and achieve one of the techniques, you're probably doing it wrong because it's all about leverage, right? So your whole goal is to either get the opponent off balance, or just get the opponent into a position where you have more leverage than they do on their body, and in that case, it's very easy for you to turn the tables. So I think I've been to 4 classes, and I already feel like I've learned a ton.
Oh, it shows, Sean. Let me tell you. Those arms right
the
there.
Guns? You like
the guns?
Let's do it.
Welcome, man. Welcome to the show.
I'm kind of intimidated right now.
No, but
you got me shaking in my shoes.
It's really fun, and the class is broken up into 2 portions. So you do the warm up. There's obviously a warm up and a cool down to all of these classes, but you do the warm up, which is kind of like sit ups and just getting your body ready for the stuff that you're about to do. And then the first half of the class is learning a technique. So it's usually a relatively long technique, a 2-part technique, where either you start up standing and you get the person to the ground, and that's a particular technique depending on whether you're in a headlock or whether they grabbed your collar. You figure out ways to take them down. And then when you're on the ground, you depending on what position you start out in, it's trying to advance to a better position. So you learn the first part, and then you learn the second part, and then you put the 2 parts together, and you pretty much just drill it one-on-one with another person. Usually that person is more advanced than you because they line up in order, and then they pull the line from the most experienced in the group to the least experienced in the group. So you're always working with someone who's way better at it than you.
Does that help them, though? That was something I was thinking about when you told me about that. I was like, well, it's awesome he's helping you. Mm-hmm. Where does he advance, though?
I think he advances in... I think you advance in just repetition and technique. Mm-hmm. You really get to hone the technique. And when you're doing that part, you're not doing a whole lot of resistance. Like, the other people aren't giving a ton of resistance. It's kind of like they're giving you just enough to let you understand that if you do it wrong, you're going to be in a bad position. So you really have to learn how to do it right. And you have to learn how to not tire yourself out trying to do it wrong. And then the second half of the class is called specific training. And that's where you use everything that you've ever learned in the class, and you pretty much start out and one of you starts out in closed guard, and the other one starts out essentially applying the closed guard. So a closed guard is person who has the closed guard is laying on their back, and they have their legs wrapped around the person's waist, and their ankles are locked together. If when the camera comes around, I'll do it again.
And then you whisper in their ear, "You're so good looking."
Which one? You could go to UFC 1, 2, or 3 with Gracie and watch him.
Yeah,
do this.
Just about any UFC fight, unless it's just 2 strikers, you'll eventually see a closed guard. It's a very, very common position. In fact, it's probably the most common position in jiu-jitsu. Anyway, closed guard, you get your legs wrapped around, and they're kind of like you hook your ankles like that, as I did into the camera, in order to tie the opponent up. So apparently in jiu-jitsu, being in that position on the bottom with your legs wrapped around the guy is far more advantageous than them being on top, because you really have a whole lot less that they can do up there aside from try to get out or try to get you to make a mistake and put you in an arm bar.
Is the idea that you're so at that position down underneath, you're trying to be so close to their body they can't really get you into anything?
Yeah, well, it's more like it's a completely different ball game in a striking bout. Like if you can actually throw punches and elbows and stuff like that, you have to defend against that on the bottom. But we're not doing that. We're just learning how to keep the opponent subdued or submitted or whatever. So on the bottom, you've got a lot of different things you can do. You can try to control the person's posture. So like the person on top will try to keep their chest up and their shoulders back as far as possible, so the person on the bottom can't get a good grip on them. That's sort of part of their defense, so that they can try and break out of that guard and pass. When you break out of the guard and pass, you're essentially trying to get out from in between their legs and either get over them into a full mount, so you're literally sitting on their chest, or get around to the side, so you're effectively laying across them, making like an L shape. And then from there, you've got a whole host of better submission techniques and stuff like that. But I like it because it's an awesome workout and it's really technical, and I just feel like I'm constantly learning cool shit. Yeah. And that's just fun. It's fun learning cool shit.
Do you feel yet though that it's some of the stuff you're learning would be practical, like if you're in a real fight?
Absolutely,
and not just set up stuff where it's like, hey, get in this position.
Absolutely.
Hey, my punch is coming from this side. Be prepared for it. Like,
right? Yeah. I mean, once you get past the whole like you might get hit in a fight, if you can effectively take another person to the ground, you can control the fight if you know this stuff and they don't. Even if they have they kind of know what they're doing, but you really know what you're doing, eventually they're just going to get tired fighting against you and not advancing in any way, and then they get tired out and you do what you need to do to them after they're tired. So it's really cool. It's very different. I've done kung fu, I've done a little bit of taekwondo, and I've done karate in my younger years when I was a spriting
No, I was right there with you. I did the taekwondo as well for a couple of years.
This is completely different from anything I've ever done before, and it's really cool in that way. So I like it. It gets the Fennel stamp of approval. For sure.
What were you talking about earlier? Remind you, Jack, no, I don't know. What was the quote you were saying to me earlier at lunch?
Oh, Jack no tie real good.
I don't know why when he was rambling off, I know Kung Fu, I know Taekwondo, I was thinking about Jack no tie.
Jack no tie. No, Jack.
Actually, one of the things that's really cool about jiu-jitsu is I went to the first couple of classes, and like I said, it took me 4 days to recover from the first class. Like I was scared to go back because of how much I beat myself up doing the routines. Like
just sore or mentally?
Yeah, sore. No, sore. Just going through the routines, my whole core, my back, my legs, everything in my body was sore. And then I finally went back 4 days later, and it was a lot better. I was like, wow, I actually feel like I can cope with this. And then the third time I went back, I pushed myself too hard again, and I was like panting and heaving on the mat and almost throwing up. And that wasn't fun. So it's like every other one has been really bad, and then the next one has been better. But when I went back for the second class, I was actually watching Gracie's instructional videos before I went there, and was actually able to apply that stuff in the class that I had not tried or learned before in a relatively successful fashion. So just understanding how the technique works and the leverage and where your body needs to go, it helps a lot.
Have you watched any matches, like, just, when you watch Strikeforce, when you watch UFC, have you watched any of that and be like a little bit more of, where it's coming from?
I kind of always understood how difficult and complicated that stuff was, but I recently watched what's his name, Roder Gracie. It's one of the other brothers.
There's Horse. There's
Horse. There's Royce. There's Force.
Really,
there's Horse.
No, there's a Royce.
He's the really tall one. He's like 6'6" or something like that, and really tall and thin and lanky. He's got like a super long reach. Anyway, I saw him fight last night, and this dude is incredible. Like he was just completely dominant on the ground. And he was so tall that the other dude didn't have enough reach, that he would just kind of like back out. You know how Ali used to fight, where he'd just kind of be just barely out of reach of the punches? That's what this dude would do. And he would get the guy running at him. And when the guy finally threw his haymaker, he'd just run in and grapple and take him to the ground immediately, and then it was over. He was all over the guy. And it was really impressive watching him, after learning some of these techniques and understanding how complicated some of it is, watching him progressively move through the techniques to get the guys back and try and choke him out. He wasn't able to submit him, because he got full mount in the first round after like getting out of closed guard the way that we're taught, getting into full mount, which is a lot. He makes it look super easy, and it's not that easy. And he just pummeled him with elbows and elbows and elbows until the round was over, cut him all up. And the second round he got in, and it was kind of the same story. Dude was flailing at him, and he finally got a chance to take him to the mat. And he got his back, and he tried doing a rear naked choke, but the dude was bleeding so much that he was too slippery, and he kept slipping out of the hold and stuff like that. But it was just really impressive watching someone from their family do it after I had learned a little bit of it, and just being like, "Fuck, the dude's amazing."
Well, that's the thing. That's what I said. You go back now, and because you're using gis, obviously in MMA now and UFC now, they're not allowed to use them because Horse used his in the first 3.
Yeah, it
was so much
more leverage and way more opportunities for.
They saw it as cheating, eventually. But have you gone back to watch those and watch him versus guys who were like triple his size and take them down with those moves?
I can't find those videos. I would love to. I'd love to, because Hoyce is the one that's in the training videos with his older brother, and he's essentially the guy that's being torn up. But when I was in specific training, I was trying. So I was in this other guy's closed guard, and I was trying to get out. And there's this one technique where you're on your knees, and the guy's got his legs wrapped around your ankle, and you get up onto one foot. So your knees kind of pointed out, and you get up onto one foot, and then you turn your hips away from the guy while you're holding him down. And that gives you enough space in between his legs that are wrapped around you to get your shoulder and your arm and your shoulder under. So you can essentially pivot forward and push his whole legs over his head, and then you try sliding around to side control, because he pretty much can't move at that point. Made the mistake of letting him get a hold of my collar when I did that, and he got me in a triangle choke like that, and I was just done. So it's one of those things where if you just make one little tiny mistake, you could be really screwed.
But you have to know to really look at it, and that's the thing, right? You have you're in those moves. You have to know all the opportunities. There's one leg lift. All the opportunities that could come from that.
Yeah, and it's just that's just.
And I think it's trial and error,
drilling
right?
it and drilling it and drilling it and drilling it, and so
he realizes, like, off you now, he knows. Okay, that's a move that's more capable. And that's the thing. I'm sure he knows now. Out of all the moves you can get into, he's probably seen that the most, and he probably knows to look for it right away. Yeah, especially on newer guys who aren't looking for that.
Yeah, it's a pretty common one. And the thing that's also really impressive too, because we use our eyes for everything. We're really used to being able to see what we're doing when we're fighting, when we're talking, everything. It's really impressive going back and watching some of these matches, like Nick Diaz and what's his name, Gomez, I think. Where these guys are wrestlers. They were kind of raised in jiu-jitsu and wrestling and stuff like that. These guys constantly have their head down away from every shot. They can't see what they're doing. They're doing everything out of feeling and just understanding how the other person's body is moving and where their changes in gravity are. That's really impressive to me now after doing this stuff. Just having that understanding, it's kind of like visualizing in your head where they're going and just moving with them. It's really cool. So
yeah, way to go, dude.
You gonna stick with it?
I think so. I signed up. I'm paying money now. So
I was about to say, like, how much is this, training costing you?
It's $145 a month. So
it's like getting a membership at the Equinox.
Yeah, it's like a gym.
Well, a very nice gym.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Not your $29
He's actually
a month.
working out though when he goes to the gym.
It's
where there's 2 machines that work and 9 of them are like by just dudes looking in the mirror going like, ugh.
Well, that's the thing is
so buff.
I've tried running, I've tried going to gyms, I've tried doing all this stuff, and none of it is fun. And this is the thing that I found that it's actually really fun and it's really interesting, and I'm kind of obsessed with it because of how technical it is and how much you can try to perfect it, and just the fact that it's interactive. That's why I like it. So it keeps me entertained. That's
well,
we need to get Mr. Geckler here.
Yeah, that's what everybody. That's what Dave
great,
was saying.
dude. You're so tall.
Fuck, yeah, I'm gonna break an arm.
I'm not gonna break it. I haven't broken an arm yet. I haven't been choked out to completely passed out.
I just feel
that's
like
not how the classes.
But that's what I don't get, because to make it effective for the other person, even the pro to learn, you're having to put some resistance. But where like you look at arm bars, you look at things like where's the fine line between the resistance you need to do and then the next step of just something popping or breaking or whatever the case might be.
Well, you run the risk. It's not like
you guys run the risk, but we run the drills slow and carefully so you don't just go all cowboy and tear someone's arm
Right,
off.
because most of it when you're training, you're saying we're going to do this move. It's not me I'm not gonna really fight you.
Yeah.
Here's my arm. Stretch it across your body. Please don't break it, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is, and obviously you probably know, and especially in MMA, the fights that I've seen where the ones that are crazy are the ones that they just do it anyways. But most of the guys in MMA, I give them props because they feel it, and they'll look at the refs. And I've seen ones where they're looking at the refs like, you need to call it now, or the dude who's in it's like, I'm not going to call. Like that's a Gracie standpoint. And one of the guys we work with, Sal, was talking about some fight where he saw was it Hoist or one of them got choked out completely, passed out.
Yeah.
Because their families, that's sort of their
Yeah,
staple.
There's tons of guys that
they're
are sit there and it's
staple.
just like, go ahead and break it, man.
And
Like,
they did,
I'm not going to tap out
and they've
on
done
this.
it. But so I guess obviously you know the limit, but you always
What is
wonder.
that? I don't know. I know it's an honor thing. What the fuck is that proving? That you're just
I don't
now
know. It's a
going to
family
be
thing.
Got a lot of
weaker?
heart.
That's what now that just makes you weaker in that arm.
Well, no, to them, I'm sure what it is it's a family like intimidation kind of thing to know like, okay, you're gonna fight me, you're not going to put me in anything I'm gonna go. So you know what I'm saying? You better come correct.
It's
If you give me any leverage and you go, oh, I'm sorry, I'm gonna break your arm, I'm literally gonna pummel your ass.
It's like those guys when they ever finish a match, and it's like ding, 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 and they went all 5 rounds or something like that, and then they both get down and do push-ups.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those?
There's a dude.
They'll sit there and it's just like, I'm still not tired. I still can keep going. And it's just like
American Ninja Warrior. Shit happened the other day like that.
Yeah.
You get American Ninja Warrior?
Those guys.
Oh, we
get
can talk about that,
yeah,
too,
but
dude. I
those
watched
guys
the
get
finals the
so
other day.
amped up.
But I thought that was like on G4 TV.
They had it actually. The final, dude, was on NBC.
Oh shit! I didn't know
It was out of control. It was on the other. So we gonna jump gears?
Yeah,
Gonna
go
jump
for
gears.
it.
Segue.
So people, if you guys haven't seen,
There's just one thing I was going to say is
Yeah,
I'm
go
not
ahead.
I'm not going to be doing tournaments anytime soon. So I don't think there's a huge.
You
risk
think
that
you'll
I'm gonna
even
be
do a
just-
tournament
I'm gonna-
ever?
I don't know.
do
Saying
it.
anytime
not-
soon
I'm
means
not
that
a
you're
super
implying that you're.
competitive person, so I don't know if I'm.
Yeah, this
gonna
is just
ever
a
go
workout,
again.
I think, maybe for you.
I'd like to box. And I was
boxing
talking
is
to I
another
was
thing,
talking to
too.
Just that workout's always intrigued me, and I'm a fan of boxing, and I've always liked that. I don't know. That'd be something I think if I got into, I'd want to do boxing. But anyways, let's jump gears. And American Ninja Warrior. The original show of this was Ninja Warrior, which is based out of Japan.
Ninja.
Usa, Usa, Usa.
Oh, I love it.
And in Japan, this is a huge phenomenon, and it's like Josh said, it's been on G4 TV, and it's this big thing where thousands of competitors show up, and they're all
DirecTV does not have anymore because
Yes.
they could not come to an agreement.
This is the only way I saw it, right? Because me and you are on
Yeah, that's why I was
DirecTV.
like saying, where the fuck was this? How did you
And,
see this? I'm so sad.
In its typical Japan style, there's tons of just characters who come dressed up and they can't make it past the first obstacle. But ideally, what it is, it's a 4-stage course, and each stage has usually around 6 to 7 obstacles in that stage that you have to do time based. Besides for the third stage, which isn't time based. Each stage it steps up, and it's set up to be sort of a free running course / mountain climbing course /
Parkour.
yes, I always pronounce that shit wrong, so I'm glad you jumped in there. Course. And what I find super interesting, and just still speaking about Japan, is the different sizes and shapes of the people who do this. You would think the kind of guys who do this are obviously super gymnast, buff, diesel guys. But they literally, the group of us guys in Nerdtastic, each one of us easily could be guys who make it past the first one or the next one if we were just in that kind of shape. Because they look, it's all over the place. Guys you wouldn't think would do as well as they do, they do. They do great. So Japan, the final stage and the whole course is called Mount Midoriyama. And as far as I've been watching and know, there's only been 3, maybe 4 who have ever completed it, ever.
Well, there was the one guy who beat it like year after. He was like kind of like a reigning champion. He beat it. Well, that was
There's
the
a couple.
Japan
No,
one.
not
the American
No,
one.
even Japan. There's only been I think 4 total, and there's a guy who's done it twice, and then two separate guys, and even guys who have beat it before, they go back the next year and they can't do it because the idea behind this is you get one shot on each stage. That's it. If you don't pass that stage, sorry, see you next year. I mean, up to that point they have regional final. Now in the American they do, but in Japan they do it all at one time. But they do this all in one night. The guys who make it to the final, there's usually 100 people, and those guys if they each one takes a pass at the first course, whoever makes it past that, second, third, whatever.
It's time based too.
Well, the last one I think is time based. I think
The last one is the third one isn't. The first and the second are time based still. The third one isn't because the third
One is fucking
the
ridiculous.
third
I
one
remember-
is all grip strength and it's all it's so fucking retarded, and that's why they don't have a time based on it because it's all grip.
I thought the mount one though is like
That's
they have,
4, and that is time based, right?
Yeah. The mount one, like that's the one that's time based because there's been so many times where I've watched the woman one like over and over too, where the chick is literally like climbing through the hole to hit the button and she runs out of time. And it
That's
was
happened
just
to
like,
some guys
and it
too,
happened
yeah.
to like this
Arigato
chick.
darimasu.
And just watching that, you're just like, I'm devastated for them. I'm just like, oh my god, I'm horrified for you right now, just because of the fact that
Right, you get
got
in.
fucking
Yeah.
3 inches away from the thing to say that you have done this and you're the champion and you fucking.
I wonder if this was medieval Japan, if they'd have to cut their guts out right there because they missed it.
Well, that like what was funny with that is and that's the ones I watched too. The time based ones, you're like, because they'll take breathers on some. You're like, you don't got time to breathe, dude. You need to go. But the last couple, not recently, but a couple years back, there was a big deal that they started letting some Americans who could qualify, and they were invited.
Yeah.
And there was very, very small group of men who were invited, and guys who had sent in tapes and guys they actually thought could even do the course. And a couple guys did, but nobody. I think the furthest any American ever made it to was stage 3, and they couldn't compete. Then they brought it to the U.S., and the last 2 years, the final group got sent to Japan to do the course in Japan. No American had beat it. No American still had beat it. This last year, the one I watched on TV was in Vegas, and Vegas.
I really want to watch it.
They got it down to 100.
I'm
Yeah,
all
it's so
amped
awesome.
right now to
It's so
fucking
awesome.
see this show.
So they got it down to 100. The first group went. A lot of people, almost all of them made it on the first group. The second stage, though, was decimated all of them but one. And when I mean, and the second one's time-based second stage, he finished it in 0.03 seconds. I'm on the couch freaking out because the very end of stage 2 are 3 walls, and it's the same in Japan, are 3 walls that go up in weight. I think it starts at 50, 75, and then 150, or maybe it's 75, 100, 150. And there's these walls. You pick the wall up, and you have to
run
get under it.
underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're back to back to back. And as he hit the first one, the second, when you hit a second left, an alarm starts going off. You only have a second left, and he hit that wall, and I was like, and I'm like, oh my god, because nobody had made it yet. All the other guys had failed, and I'm like, oh my god, we're not even going to get to see the stage 3 because these guys all, I won't say suck because it's tough. So he makes it with 0.03.
Cut the mustard.
There's a kid who had saw it years ago, and you can't compete until you're 21.
This kid was training for like 3 years.
He was. He can't compete until you're 21. He had started 3 years back saying, I want to do that.
Well,
and started training.
Side note too is a lot of these guys like they're just the delivery man.
That's what I mean.
They're
Yeah,
the
they're
fucking
just-
guy that works in the ice
Right.
cream shop.
Absolutely.
And all of a
Mail
sudden,
guy.
yeah.
This is a student at Cal Poly. I mean, he's an engineer student.
Yeah.
He just...
And I'm just going to wreck shit. And
But
just
he's
go crazy.
obsessed. He's obsessed. And all these guys who made it to the end, they show you the videos of stuff they do. Dude's hanging horizontal from a pole and just smiling at you. Full body's out. And that dude in particular, the Cal Poly kid, was diesel. I mean, his chest was, he didn't look like the typical guy. And even the announcers were saying that a lot of guys, Jason's giving us the sign of approval from the glass.
Wait, is he back?
Come on in, Jason.
done?
Come on in, buddy.
Oh, they haven't even started yet, which was 20 minutes ago. You suck.
So he was huge, and so the upper body mass usually will hinder these guys on some of the exercises or events. So he
And they'll gas because
he was-
their bodies just
right.
need way more oxygen.
he was on the stage 1. He was the fastest time, so he was the last to go on stage 2. He made it through. One of the things that kept messing people up, is they'd make it through the salmon bar, which is a bar they have to like hop up on to each level, which is tough. Most guys made it through that. It's when they had the log roll. It's a giant like barrel that you push off a little ledge and then it spins down that you have to walk on. That took out 15 guys, easy. That kid made it past that, and I'm like, oh, God, he's going to do it. The next one, though, are these... It's on this hanging wheel, and there's these chains that hang down from it. There's 4 of them. You have to leap, and the leap's probably about, I don't know, it's pretty far. It looks like 4 or 5 feet. Grab onto the chain, and then it spins you around to the other side, and you jump off. 4 guys made it to that. As soon as this dude hit, and he leaped up high and got to the top, it literally looked like it was lined with grease. He just slid, and every guy who hit that, besides the one guy who completed it, slid down. And I was looking, and this is only stage 2, and I'm like, some of these guys, one of the guys there, quit his job at Cirque du Soleil to be in the event because they wouldn't give him the day off. He was from Vegas. He's one of the stunt performers. He made it there, fell on that part. The stuntman, the new Superman movie, his double, stuntman double, that dude, the little challenge right before that, he failed on.
Did you DVR this by any chance?
No.
Damn it.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I did. I might have it. You might be able to watch it at the house.
I'm coming over.
Yeah, you might be able to watch it. So this kid makes it, and he's been training a long time, and he's made it, actually the last couple years, he's made it to that stage. He gets to stage 3, and this is the one I'm excited about, because stage 3, even in Japan, is the most, seriously, it's harder than I think stage 4. Stage 4 mostly is a rope climb.
Because that's what I think, like, stage 3 was where, excuse me, a lot of the guys, when it was actually on G4 that I was able to see it, it was the fingertip thing.
Exactly.
And you're just going through, and it was like, it became like, it was like declined, and then it went to a tall incline, and then
there was an arm length gap that
that's it.
Yeah,
dude.
and it was just
So
that
hard.
thing, and that's, I think, where everybody got killed.
Right.
Does that have the corridor where you have to like put your hands on and climb through?
That's usually stage 1. That's usually stage 1, believe it or not, where you go off the springboard and you pin yourself, and then This, though, and then somebody who's watching this is going to clown me because I can't remember the name, but it's called, like, it's something wall. And as soon as I saw it, I started out loud. I'm like, because I saw a whole Japanese year one year. Nobody made it. Yeah, nobody made it past that.
The Japanese year was that year, the last one I saw.
So, no, that's probably the 3rd out of the 7 challenges in stage 3. That's probably the 3rd or 4th one you get to. No American has ever beaten that, mind you, ever. In Japan or in the United States. That's as far as any American has ever got. And as far as I know, there's only been 4 or 5 Americans who have ever even got to that. And one was this kid. Well, as it turns out, like, so he's looking at the for stage 3, he's walking along trying to figure out how he's going to do stuff. As it turns out, they show the video. Him and, like, one of the other guys who've been there before built a replica to practice on that event. Because there's a section of that wall, and basically for people who don't know, it's like Josh said. I mean, it's a piece of wood that sticks out probably about 2 inches, so it's just enough for fingertip grip, and there's no foothold, so you're literally walking along your fingers. And there's a part where you have to leap up, grab another one. The part that blows me away is when you walk along the very top ledge. There's a gap of probably 3 feet over to your right, if you're looking at it and hanging over to your right of another wood block. That's probably only a foot long.
And it's lower, isn't it?
And it's lower. And then there's a 2-foot gap to get to the final one to walk over, or to move over. That leap from the top one to that little foot piece of wood, every year had got everybody. If you'd even made it that far, that had killed everybody. So they showed the kid in training, and he had this crazy technique. I was showing Sean, he had this crazy technique to get over there, and I'm like, you know, you get there, but you don't think you're going to pull it off when you get there, and he did it. And I'm watching, and all the audience is going apeshit because nobody's ever made it past this. And he does this sort of swing technique on his fingers to leap himself onto the little foot one, and then he does this swing thing with his body to leap him to the second one. But then from there, he had used so much in just grip, because the first 2 before you even get to there are you're gripping this wheel that you have to move one thing at a time, and then you go to these door handles. There's literally door handles that you have to grab onto, and they move. So you swing from door handle to door handle. This is all grip strength.
When does a ninja ever have to do this
I don't
in
know,
real life?
dude. Yeah, exactly. But then after he did the hanging with his fingers, it was an inverted rock wall. So he's hanging going down. No, it was down. backwards. So he got his feet finally up under him to put up, and then he just sort of stopped. And you can look on his face, and he hung for a second and tried to get it, and it's all with those rock climbing wall grips to get to the next one, and he just and he fell, and he looked and he goes, I couldn't have gripped or held on to anything anymore. He's like, you blow so much, and he had never done it before. He's like, if I had moved fast, maybe I could have done it. He had 3 more challenges to go. He's like, if I had made it, he's like, if I had made it through that one, even to the next one, good chance I probably wouldn't have made it to the next one. But
is this like Last Starfighter? Like the person who actually does win it goes off into space and fights space people?
I wish, dude. You win 500,000. You would think it'd be 1 million, just because the odds of even being able to do that is pretty insane. I mean,
and you get a contract with the Yakuza. So
yes, they sign you right up.
Triads get you.
You're now my personal bodyguard. You'll be following me everywhere. It's just so impressive to see what these guys can do. Like, it's just insane impressive to me. And that seems like some fun shit.
We should get Tom Cruise into that. Do it.
I'm actually surprised.
Do your own stunts.
I'm surprised. There's been some of the years in Japan that they've invited some guys from the Olympics, U.S. Olympic teams, who've done some different stuff. But that to me seems like that'd be fun. Some of that stuff that they do on that course, like if I had the upper body strength, because it almost is all upper body strength, to do some of that stuff. Well, there's some skinny kids.
They have the one that they have down in I don't know if it was L.A. or something like that. Because have you ever seen the
it's huge now.
Freddie Wong?
Yeah.
Like they actually went there and videotaped themselves trying to do it.
That's awesome. I didn't see that video.
I don't think any you haven't, because they put a GoPro on them and it shows them like nope, and then just like into the water.
I think it'd just be there's a lot of courses now. Like there's a lot of indoor training facilities. Like that's a pretty big deal now, and it's cool to see it in the U.S. But I find it interesting that we, as a society in the U.S., obviously we're all high and mighty with our views of ourselves and what we can do in sports and everything else. And then you watch this, and these dudes, one dude struggled to get to the third stage of something that in Japan they've had 5 guys who have managed. One of which is a fisherman.
Yeah.
Now, the dude, if you watch his videos, trains in the most obscure ways possible. Like, he climbs up sideways up the mast of his boat, and he works with anchors. He throws them in and then pulls them up with a rope, throws them in, pulls them up with a rope. Like, stupid shit that nobody... Literally, dude, it's like stuff you see on Bloodsport. That he's going to go use in the Kumite when he's done. A-okay, USA.
Break my record. Break your face.
God, I fucking love that movie. If you like Kumite, give us a like on Facebook. Kumite. Makes me think
Ninja! My headphones fall off every time I do that.
It's powerful, man. It's intense.
But yeah, Josh, you come over, dude. I think I might have it on the old DVR. We'll find it.
This. But yeah, all right.
So I guess I got you. Got anything else?
No, keep going. I have been so busy at work. I have not had any time.
I got it. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, The Dark Knight.
Sean
Rises.
Yes, Dark Knight Rises.
Sean is the elephant in the room.
Here I am.
So we all, to catch people up, the 3 of us, including Adam and Jason, who aren't here.
Not Josh.
Oh, that's right. Josh,
I
son of a... You quitter.
I did not...
Underachiever.
I did not quit.
Didn't do it.
You underachieved. You did underachieve. You're smiling because that's a good word. You did underachieve.
I did not underachieve.
Underachieving means you didn't achieve to the fullest.
I achieved.
You didn't.
I achieved.
You didn't obtain the achievement.
Yes.
Point.
Yeah. So we went and
suck.
saw the marathon version of
trilogy.
all the Batman movies of Christopher Nolan. So we saw Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and then Dark Knight Rises. Mm-hmm. And everybody but Josh did. Josh decided to join us starting at the
Josh
Dark Knight.
didn't need Ra's al Ghul in his
I did not
life.
need to see Ra's al Ghul and the...
Oh, it was so good to see the first one again, dude.
Yeah, it was.
God, I love that one. But so we saw all 3, which was I'd be the first one to tell you was daunting as all hell just to sit through that many movies when you're in your 30s. It was a realization I think me and Sean came to by the end when we're like,
Not in college anymore.
As we stared down our 5-hour energy drink, it was like, hey, dude, you want to do halvesies? Yeah. Let's do 2.5-hour energy drink.
I went on a nice run. I got home from work. I went on a nice run, and then
that buys you nothing with us.
And then I walked to the ArcLight, went in the lobby, and started drinking. And
And missed the whole first movie.
But you know what? I was getting drunk.
You could have.
You got nothing with
You
us.
could have
Worth
been
it.
drunk when you showed up. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I was all hopped up on Mountain Dew chip. Honestly, I was all hot. Well, not Mountain Dew. I was all hopped up on bags of candy that Adam's girlfriend brought. Angie, thank you very much for the bags of endless candy.
Thanks, Angie.
The red vines are awesome.
Sour Patch Kids made my face cringe.
Yeah, but
drank
when
a-
you have nothing but just
it's
Long
rough.
Island iced teas and then fucking candy, and that was your dinner,
Joshua's wired. Actually,
Let me
You
tell
should've
you.
seen him.
was not feeling too good.
I had a caramel macchiato that cost less than water at the theater. That was the first time I drank coffee in, I think, 3 years. Something like that.
So you had coffee
Oh.
and half a 5 hour
And half a 5 hour. So I was up for at least 4 hours because
You
of those.
didn't get to bed till 5 a.m.
I'll be the first to say though, on behalf of the Nerdtastic team, our definitely our prayers go out to all the people there
Yeah.
for the incident that happened by some jackass in a
Fucking
movie
guys.
theater. But on a brighter note, though, the movies. So I'll tell you, for me in particular, I loved, as long as it was, I actually loved seeing the first two movies again on the big screen.
I did too. I liked
That
it
like
a lot.
revamped it for me, like being excited. I've never actually, I've been one of the few people not as a fan of Dark Knight as much as most people, but I really liked it this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lot more. Like I certain scenes in particular, the spoiler alert. actually, if you haven't seen it, stop listening to this show now and for good. Where they blow up the car, they're on the street and it's the big chase, and Joker, the car gets flipped out and he gets out with his gun and he's just yelling at Batman coming at him on the cycle. He's like, "Do it, you're like,
Do it. I want you to do
oh,
it. Come on.
so,
Dude, it's so good.
fucking
It's like, come on.
good.
Come on.
It's
You're
just
like,
it's good acting. It's great cinematography. The way they film it, just that whole scene is just it just had me amped. I'm like, God, it like woke me back up. I'm like, this it's just good filmmaking all in one shot. So, you lead from that and then you lead into the final one. The problem with me was that we'd saw so much movie. By the third, I kind of wasn't juiced anymore.
Yeah. I felt the same way.
I don't know how you guys
And I
felt, but
like,
I kind of
I
like.
felt like it kind of clouded my feeling of the movie. If I
Yeah.
had seen it fresh, I would have been like, this movie is fucking incredible. But because it followed The Dark Knight, and because The Dark Knight was so energetic and just so over the top and such an action-packed film that, by the time we hit, I think it was 12:20 when
yeah, when that one started.
The Dark
and it
Knight
was a
Rises
2 hour and
started.
45-minute movie.
Yeah, so I mean, once we got there, I was really feeling the slow build of the film, which was a very effective build to the film.
And it is a slow build.
Yeah,
There's no
and it's
doubt.
a slow build, but it was just he's telling that type of a story after this one that we just saw was a big change in gears, big shift. And it was hard. It was just hard because I was so tired.
I think that's it. I think I was physically exhausted. I think movie wise,
Pussy.
I was physically drained. I mean, but you know what? It was the drained and physically exhaused
but
of being hopped up on sugar for hours.
My mind was so awake, but my body was like, "Fuck you!"
No, it was rough. It was really rough. I won't lie. It was.
And you didn't even see all three of them.
You
How
suck.
dare
I saw two of
you?
them.
How dare you?
But then I don't know.
What are you guys thoughts on the last one? What are you guys
I mean,
thoughts on that movie as a whole?
I like how.
I'm sure we're gonna offend somebody.
I mean, exactly what Sean was saying too. Where I loved the second one so much. I hadn't seen it. I mean, I saw it in the theater in IMAX at Dark Knight, and I thought it was amazing. And I waited for it, and it came out on Blu-ray, and I bought it. Didn't watch it right away though, because nowadays there's no anticipation for DVD or Blu-ray releases, if you will, because it was out like 3 months ago, and you just saw it.
Right.
Like back in the day, it was it used to be a year
Back in the
or
day,
two. When I was young,
When I
not
was
a
young.
kid
Yeah, there it
anymore. But yes, you had built up anticipation. Now you can see things like so quick, so instantly. So anyways, I waited a while, and then I saw it one more time, maybe like 8 months after it came out on DVD, and that was it. That was my only thing. I had seen Batman Begins though so many times. That was the only reason why I didn't go with you guys, because I have seen that movie so much. I watched it a ton on when it came out on HD DVD, and then I
have
got
that.
and then I got the Blu-ray of it, watched it again on Blu-ray, and then every time it was on fucking FX, I was watching Dark Knight Begins. Or Batman Begins, I'm sorry. And so that's the reason why I didn't go. It wasn't, that was the only reason why.
Oh, but it was so good on the big screen, though. Yeah, it was so good.
And like I said, the Joker's character, Heath Ledger's character, I know there's a lot of hype built up, beforehand because he died, and so that it kind of helped it in a way. Like you wanted to see what he did with it, what kind of somewhat quote unquote made him go insane. But no, the dude just makes that character fucking awesome.
Yeah,
and I mean,
no doubt.
and like I said, the best line in that movie is, some men can't be bought, some men can't be like reasoned with. He's just a fucking insane character, and he just wants to create this chaos. There's no motive behind it except for just fucking people up.
I love the picture on the internet where someone's handing Jack Nicholson the Heath Ledger Joker to sign, and he's just staring at him like, you fucking asshole. It's so awesome.
That is a great fucking thing, dude. I've never seen that.
I haven't seen that picture. It's
How
pretty
fucking
funny.
loud was it in that theater, though? They had everything
Well, that's the
turned
problem.
to 11.
And we talked about this, is that...
And that
Eddie and
alone
Josh,
is exhausting.
I couldn't understand a fucking word out of Bane's mouth. And
That's
that
another thing,
drove
too.
me...
Your punishment must be more severe.
No. Yeah, well, when you turn the bass up in the theater so damn loud that
Yeah.
you can't understand what's coming out of his mouth, I gave up at one point. I'm like, oh, please, just like Batman, don't talk anymore.
Just punch him.
I would get like 80%, and there'd be 20% where I'm sitting there trying to piece together. Like, I got the first half of his sentence. Like, maybe this is what
exactly.
it is? And it'd be like, and we're going to die. And it's like,
That's
what?
exactly
Okay.
That's the best example of how it is.
And so combining all these things, and the fact that we just saw Dark Knight, and like I said, it's very fresh in our minds. I was amped to see something like that. And again, not taking away, it was a very great movie. It was a very good movie. I just like the second one better. Yeah. And so it was just kind of, to me, it was kind of like meh. I think the time of the night, did hinder it, like Sean said. And like I said, the back to back of the movies. Catwoman's character was just kind of like, man, she was there.
I actually was impressed. That impressed me more than anything.
She did a good job.
Yeah,
like I
think
said,
she did a terrific job.
everybody did fantastic acting. Everybody did fantastic. All their craft was well. Nobody did shitty job in that movie. It was just more of the writing of her character. I would have liked to see more. Give her more.
Would have been a longer film.
More depth or something like that. And Bane's character, you got a little bit, like every other character, you got a little bit more of, where they came from, kind of what they were doing. She was just trying to get like a clean slate, and it's just like, okay, well, what was her past? What was she trying to run from? And just, I don't know. But so, like I said, I liked it. It wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't a great movie. I would have wanted it. The hype got to me. The hype got to me to where I wanted it to be epic. And not that it wasn't bad, it just wasn't an epic movie for me.
I think the content was more epic than the second one. I mean, he literally destroys an entire city.
No, I loved that part too. Like, I loved
and
the
makes
premise of it
makes
100%.
It swallow itself, and I felt like that whole trajectory was really successful, and it felt pretty realistic, of just like a city tearing itself apart from the inside because it was built on these lies. And
that's a great premise, yeah.
And Bane kind of put his finger on the button.
I love the prison aspect. I love that prison in Afghanistan or wherever it was at. I thought
Abu
that.
Dhabi.
I thought that was to me. I love that little section. I love those little kind of side stories of like how he was raised in the darkness and raised in this hell, and then they actually take us there. And past that, they take Bruce Wayne there, which I thought was awesome.
And I like how it kind of mirrors him when he was a child falling into the well.
Right.
And now he had to climb up out of there, and now he's got to climb up out of this place, but he's got no one to help him this time. So it really is him, like the Dark Knight, trying to get the.
I think if we all saw it again, maybe we'll. And that's what I'm sort of waiting for. I'm going to wait till it comes out
tomorrow.
Are you really?
Remember that? My layout team, they paid for us to go see it in IMAX at City Walk tomorrow at fucking 10 in the morning.
Oh God! Now you're going the other way, so you're gonna be tired in the morning. Fuck! You're just getting no break, are you?
Yeah, right.
That's awesome.
It's weird to me, but it's no like Avengers, and I don't know if it was like I said, I don't know if it. Mostly with me, I think it is when we saw it. The fact I was sort of burnt out. I'm sure I would have had a different experience.
It's definitely got less spectacle.
Yeah, And it is a franchise you know, right? So you know what you're getting into.
The one thing that kind
of
of disappointed me is, for some reason, I felt like the techie reveals, like all the cool shit that Batman does, I felt like they were really just kind of brushed over in this film. Like, there was no real awesome reveals. They kind of did it all in the trailer. There's no new fancy, super fun gadgets and stuff like that. The first and the second one were really good at being like, here's my new cool shit. Oh, look, you haven't seen this before. Oh, look, you haven't seen this before. And I didn't feel like I got that from this one. And I always like that stuff.
Right. Well, that was me with James Bond. Why I love the films. I love when he would go talk to Q and like they come up with all these gadgets that were cool. But I'm still tossed up on how I feel about the ending. And I can see how a lot of people would enjoy the ending of the film and think that's a great classic way to end a film of this stature and how to end it. I don't know. It didn't sit necessarily well with me. I don't think we needed to see him leave Gotham. Even, and that's maybe the comic book guy in me or whatever else that, obviously his legacy lives on, and he, even into his old age, adapted but was still in Gotham. The torch got passed a bit, but it was still him. And he, to me, seems like he did a great job, besides for the little Easter egg he threw on at the very end with the Batcave, that he's sort of now just walked away. And I don't know. That's like I said, I could see both sides of the camp. I could see people liking it. Me in particular, that's not how I like them. I like when movies aren't always definitive. That's just me. I like knowing that you could take this somewhere else. Even though, to be honest, I'm not sure I'd want any other director to touch it now. But I'm sure somewhere down the road they'll give it to somebody else to fucking get their hands on. But so let's talk about the funniest aspect of the film. And this is for all the people who have since seen the Batman films and watched everything on Devour and every YouTube video. Is fucking Christian Bale's Batman. Holy shit. When you see it again on the big screen, all of us lost it. I think the whole theater lost it at one point.
We laughed a lot at his expense, I think.
and that's what sucks is it hadn't really hit me how much it takes it out. It takes you out of the game.
Yeah, the thing that sucks is that he just did such a good job on College Humor, just like replicating his voice.
Oh my god!
In a funny way, but it's really accurate.
Oh, that's what fucked me up. It is
super accurate.
So
like
accurate.
You go back to the movie and you're like, I didn't realize he sounded this ridiculous, but he does, and it's funny because they fucking show it to you.
Where is he?
Why do you guys? Do you think that came from? I haven't read anything. I'm sure it's somewhere on a making of or whatever else. Was that his call, or was that Nolan's call to change the voice?
I don't know. I mean, every one of them, except for the fucking popcorn light show.
Keaton didn't change his voice.
Who? Michael Keaton. Oh, he did a little bit. Yeah, you
Did
watch
he?
it. You watch it. He's very like it's lower toned. It's more muted. Where he's just like, even when he's with Kim Basinger, he's just like, "How much you weigh?" Like it's lower.
Oh, you're right. There is a little bit of lowness. Is it Kilmer who didn't change his voice?
Val Kilmer never changed his voice. Fucking
you laugh. I liked Val Kilmer though. I'm one of the few people who really liked Val Kilmer.
Is he the one that had the nipples on the suit?
That's
was
Clooney.
George
Okay.
Clooney.
Then Kilmer to me, dude, was one of the best Bruce Waynes. Like it was just very believable to me when he was Bruce Wayne. But and I also thought he had the build for Batman, like at the time. He does not now. He needs to get on some
gigantic alcohol head.
Needs to get back on some fucking Jenny Craig or something. Some bat bars and fucking hit the gym. But I just that voice I fucking kept and it didn't get old. By the third one. At fucking 2 a.m, I was like, actually, I got a little irritated. I hit a point where I was like, please stop talking.
Yeah,
just fight or nod, give hand gestures. Ha ha! Something.
Look up here.
Something where you're not talking like a deranged. It just was horrible, dude. And you're right. It's College Humor, Devour. Yeah. These sites ruined it. Well, ruined what was
over there.
Dude, especially when it's what I do.
It's what I do.
It
defends me. I just like how he always sounds out of breath. That's the funniest part to me. He's
I'm
like,
sure he is. But I wonder if that was him or that was Nolan's call to really alter it.
Maybe it was like the 50th take, and he's like, I'm fucking totally done delivering this line.
That's it. Go with it.
Yeah. Let's do 5 more, and we'll have it.
You gotta give Bale props though. This last week he actually went to Aurora and went to the hospital and visited a bunch of the victims from the shooting, and I thought that was classy.
Yeah,
especially to come from a guy who's made it very clear that Johnny Depp style stays way the hell out of the spotlight. But much like Johnny Depp, who's done similar things, where he the best story I ever heard of him was his daughter's hospital, when she was in the hospital for a really bad fever at one point in London, I believe, showed up to the kids' wing dressed as Jack Sparrow and did full fucking character to a whole children's wing, and they had no idea he was coming. Can you imagine as a kid, dude? That even just bullshit. He just shows up and he's fucking Jack Sparrow, and because I guess his kids love him as that.
Probably wouldn't believe it.
And that was the thing. They were like, "Would you believe it?" Until pictures started surfacing that he had just randomly showed up, and it's just. That I give props to the people who can.
You know, Hollywood's got like 4 Johnny Depps just in the pocket waiting
for that franchise when he doesn't want to do it,
or just any time. Hey, we need a Johnny Depp over here on 4th. All right, throw the 3rd one out there.
He loves that character though. That's like that's one of the characters he says he would do until he was done.
Looks like one of his more fun characters too. So,
yeah.
Meh.
This is kind of martial arts themed episode.
It really is. I know.
Dark Knight,
Dark
ninjas,
Knight fighting, ninja warriors,
jiu-jitsu. Go ninja, go.
I love
Kumite.
it. I love it. Very much
It's all
so.
about the Kumite. Well, since Jason's not here, let's talk about achievements and how I fucking can't get them.
Christ. Is this not the worst challenge we've ever done?
I think he's upset at me. I think he's upset at what he calls a serious lack of dedication to getting achievements. Here's the thing, dude. Achievements? You know me. I've had Xbox. My icon says 5 years. I have 4,000 points. I
But the rest of us have a minimum of 10,000.
Yeah. I play with my friends and I play multiplayer, and that gives you whatever game you play limited
15-something.
limited ability to get whatever achievement points. Where Jason, since he started, that's what he does. He plays games to get all the achievements. So for him, this is a walk in the park because that's how he plays the game anyways.
Yeah, not knocking on Jason, but going into this, I was skeptical just because I kind of knew, I had an inkling that like this is not going to be super fun because, and I'm finding I was right, and I hate it when I'm right, but I am usually. It's just it feels like work. And I don't want.
I mean, a challenge isn't its name, right? It's a challenge,
Yeah,
and honestly, I want to prove him wrong. And if he was here right now, I'd be telling him this. And if you listen to this, Jason, no, it's true. Challenge accepted, my friend. I know I have a week left, but damn it, I'm going to find a way. I tell you what, I'm going to be happy if I can get to 500. That's my big goal. If I can get to 5, and for people who know me, that's huge. If I can get
challenge
to 5,
accepted.
Yeah. No, I'm going to shoot for 1,000, but man, it's just tough.
You have so many games though too that you don't.
I do, and it's funny. You can go through your gamer card, right, and look at all the ones. And there's games. Seriously, I have like Halo. I have 7 achievements out of 49 or something. But as you read through, a lot of them are time based, and it's like, well, okay, you have to play through the entire game. How long is that going to take me? Well,
we were just talking.
I
about
have a family,
you
and
really don't have to stop and shoot everyone. You just pretty much book it through
Yeah.
every level and try and not.
But
die.
see, to me, that's not. It's such a fine line. We were talking about this before the show. It's a fine line. It's like I want to do those challenges for games I love playing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to go back through, or I don't want to have to buy games I don't like playing to get. I want it to be fun and at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing a lot of those challenges, and it's got to be the same for him to some point. Is they're not fun challenges. They're not shit I would normally ever do in the game. Period. I didn't buy DJ Hero 2 to sit and play multiplayer in DJ Hero 2. I just didn't.
Yeah.
That's just not. But half of the achievement points that are left for that game for me, win 50 battles online versus what?
And that's where half of Halo is too.
Wind it up.
Are on multiplayer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's doable. Well, we'd have to play Halo online, but
It's like getting to different levels and so on and so forth.
it's just a lot of, for me, it's a lot of time-based stuff. It's not stuff like, hey, just play a level and you get an achievement. It's, like you said earlier, play 30 hours. And,
Yeah.
Dude, 30 I have maybe in me 3 or 4 hours a night I can actually play.
Yeah.
And when I play, I want it to be fun. And the problem with this challenge is I feel like I played all the games that I want to play that I would have gone for the challenges for. They're already done. So I've got nothing. Like, I either have to find a game that I kind of maybe I'll like or will probably hate. And it's just, if I could go back through and play Halo and get those achievements that I already got the first time I played through them, I would do that. But I already got them, so
Yeah.
can't. Sucks.
I got my dark horse.
We whine
What the hell's
about
your
some
dark
stupid
horse?
shit.
What the hell's your
I'm not
dark
telling-
horse?
I'm not
You have no
telling you.
dark
No.
horse. You should tell me because I need
2K
points.
sports titles? Is that what it is? Is that where you're going?
That's what he did. He said,
Dribble
no,
a
that's what he
dribble a
said.
basketball.
He goes, dude, pick
Make
up like
it-
NBA 2K, dude. He's like, you get like 100
I'll let you
points.
borrow it. I'll
Make
bring
it-
it in there.
make a
There's a quick
three-point
way
shot.
to get a good amount of points on that game.
Create a character.
It's like create a character, win a game on veteran, blah, 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 or something like
Name
that,
your
too. You can
character.
get like 800 points like that.
Double dribble.
But I've already done it. so-
That's the problem.
Free
You've done
throw.
it.
Yeah. But you haven't, so I could pass it on
You
if you
could
want.
pass it on to me. There's got to be some I haven't done either, like the Doritos challenge one. But you're not getting 1,000 off that
No,
game.
you're getting like 100 and something probably. But I mean that was.
But that's doable though.
yeah, it's pretty easy too.
I could buy a shitload of those cheap Microsoft games. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm like, well, I can do Zuma 2, Zuma 1,
Try
or
not
3.
to fart, and I'm sure you can probably get all 200 points of that one, like just like that.
And I'm sure that's what Josh. That's his dark horse. Josh is throwing money
gave
at
it
this. Josh is throwing money at this thing.
He's buying a win.
Pretty much.
And I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I would clearly do the same shit. If I could get Jason and just show him like, hey dude, look what I got to surprise him, but go, okay, dude, that cost me $200.
Exactly. But challenge completed, proving nothing.
So any kids listening out there, it's summer, you got nothing to do.
Exactly.
Jacktastic 3D. I'll give you the login. Play all the games I have on there, please. And I'll buy any I don't have.
You'll get a shiny nickel for it too.
I'll send you many Stanley nickels.
Well, yeah,
I don't know. What do you? Yeah.
yeah.
Rabbit.
I
All
just,
right.
the thing with the challenge, that's a problem, dude. I still love playing Modern Warfare 3. And it's just, I want to play with my friends when I'm on there. And it sucks to sign on and know, okay, well, I have to go do this instead of doing what I want to be doing.
Knowing that all our friends are like, oh, cool, Jack's on.
And that's what happens. I get hit up by my friends, and it's just the nature of how I am. I'm like, sweet, I want to play.
Yep, I'm in.
Instead of
Right.
what I probably could do in retrospect for a while is just hide my online status.
Did we
and jump
talk
on.
about our horrible co-op experience?
Did
Yes.
we?
Yeah, we talked
Were you
about that. We talked about
fucking-
that last week.
I'm at the top of the submarine,
Yeah. Nope.
getting ready to die, and his
I
arrows
ran
going the
all
other
the
way.
back to the beginning. 'cause,
God,
like,
Sean, in retrospect, it was funny as hell. When I was there,
was.
I was actually kind of laughing
it
too.
wasn't
just
funny
'cause,
when I
like,
did it. I was like,
You
son
need-
of a bitch.
you
where
need
the
to get
fuck-
your mic
where do I
fixed.
go?
There's
don't
no
know why.
reason why that didn't work.
It worked for like 2 seconds, and then it unsynced, and I don't know.
It's just a cable.
What do you have? You have the wireless, like the little wireless
Yeah, I have the
headset?
wireless one, and I have my
Don't
Triton.
you have
but
Tritons?
The Triton thing isn't. That's not working. I think I have the same problem you have
With the
the
cable?
The cable stopped working. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like
now
Amazon.
I just-
Amazon, it's like $3, dude.
Yeah.
You get 2 of them or something.
I'm so burnt out on that type of game. I just don't like playing it. I don't even like looking at the login screen. I'm
Well, I
just
mean,
like,
regardless, if we play anything else though,
yeah, that might be useful.
Josh, we gotta do the survival thing.
Yes.
I have no. There's obviously tricks to it, but when I get to the part where helicopters come in, is there
die.
a place to get stingers or something to
I
shoot
have
shit
no
down?
idea. I'm not sure.
Playing by myself is like, and this sucks.
And
And I'm hiding under a bridge. I have no guns, and there's a what is it? AH-6s flying over my head.
Ugh.
I don't know. People listening to this are probably going, "You're a dumbass. You can go over there
yeah,
and
you
do
just
this."
shoot him with your gun.
I did. Used all my clips up.
And I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So there's got to be something to that. But on that note, folks, I think we're done.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up now. And
Another fun-filled episode of Nerdtastic In 3D.
yeah, episode number 34. What is it?
The
Tres
episode.
cuatro.
Tres Quattro. Tres Quattro in the bag, people.
To all the Hispanics.
How do you say ninja in Spanish?
Ninja.
As
All right,
always,
folks.
I am Josh the Brat.
I'm Jack Eckler.
I'm Sean Fennel.
And yeah, thanks
We're
for
outta here.
joining us.
See ya.
Bye, guys.